and let's jump over to the very first game of our top 8 with Ooooozzy going up against keyistyq, with Ooooozzy going with the TF Swain, with keyistyq with Fiora Shen. So what do you think? Like, this is the matchup that we talked about. This is probably going to be a little bit more difficult for Ooooozzy.
Yes, this is going to be great if he manages to get the win, because he has two chances to win against. He has two chances to win and take it all in the first round. Of course, Fiora Shen probably is not the best for him if he's queuing his other deck, that is Hexcore Foundry, because I have seen the deck. Usually people say it's favored, but it's not entirely true, because if you're a Shen can manage to have a greedier hand, he can have things like Relentless Pursuit, which we see in keyistyq's deck, things like Tiana Crown Guard, which became a staple from now on. Yeah, it is going to be hard, because essentially you don't want to give them cards.
Yeah, so I mean, take a look at his hand right now. Keyistyq actually has quite a lot of option. Okay, this a little bit more zoom in than expected, but he has like single combat here, Bright Steel Formation, and it seems like he has a very slow start compared to what Ooooozzy has at the moment. So I think Ooooozzy might be able to just rush him through, and it's gonna be a really quick game 1 for him.
Yeah, especially because he had double 1-drops. I think he's searching for some removal. Culling Strike is not the best, but it is not the worst either. You can just use it probably on the Shen at this point and try to kill it.
Yeah, and I think you know, he has a, based on keyistyq hand, he has, yeah, here comes the stun onto the Shen instead. So I think keyistyq might be in to a lot of trouble. Calling Strike only could is gonna be denied by a Notify, but you know, we know that his hand doesn't really have one.
I'm not sure if the players are on the same time, because I think Ooooozzy might be ahead and on a delay, because we have seen a Screeching Dragon in keyistyq's hand and now he disappeared. Where did the dragon go? Like, you don't make a dragon disappear out of nowhere.
It's okay. Let's just take away keyistyq hand and let's just look at Ooooozzy's point of view as of right now. Yeah. So here we have Ooooozzy with the Zap Spray Fin, picking him up a Noxian Fervor, which, you know, he could close off really soon.
Yeah, his opponent did what we call a Fiora Shen. He just had enough units to stay in the game, but not enough units to pressure. Usually that's the main problem of Fiora Shen. You just break on spells and then pray to God that River Shipper is going to save you, draw you some spells so you can finally reach your units.
Yeah, but I mean, take a look at Ooooozzy hand as well. It's not exactly that that smooth sailing for him. Like, you know, there's not a lot of options where, or like combat tricks that he could do. All he have is creatures, and they are like really slow in speed as well. And here we see keyistyq passing the turn back to Ooooozzy, and it seems it just makes it sound like, you know, keyistyq might be baiting something, and etc. coming in. Block going onto the Shen, and this might be huge if keyistyq do not have a counter, which he doesn't. keyistyq might be in huge trouble.
And at this point, if you are Ooooozzy, you know that your opponent 1 doesn't have Notify and 2 doesn't have Sharpsight to try and save that one. So you're sure that is going to be a certain kill from now onwards, and you know that your opponent hasn't ways to stop that when he taps at below 4 mana.
Yeah, so you know, it's right now it's all down to, does keyistyq has a way to stop that Swain. If that Swain actually goes haywire, and it's gonna be really difficult for keyistyq as well. Here comes a stun going onto the Fiora, the Citra, you know, which keyistyq is in danger if he doesn't have a 3 attack creature as well. And I think, you know, right here Ooooozzy is in the driver's seat. Ooooozzy is just gonna punch in with those two elusive units, and a Death's Hand is so massive for Ooooozzy as well.
You can still go all in with your units, but you can also try to go depths and then remove one of the last blockers. Maybe your opponent doesn't have a way to deal with it, but he might get the read that there might be a concerted strike, for example, that is trying to deal with this Swain, and he might be waiting for that. The thing is, concerted strike or single combat doesn't matter what they are going to go through, especially with this Citria coming in, because she has barrier. Ooooozzy doesn't have a way to proc barrier and kill her at the same time. So yeah, and here is the concerted strike. Actually, you can go for Deathsend probably to save one of your units, still push a lot of damage. Your Swain is obviously dying, but I don't think you really care. You have a second one in hand, ready to go back on the board.
Yeah, so the Swain wouldn't make too much of a difference, and this it
I
is
love this approach. I actually love this approach because this levels Swain and keeps it alive. So you just hit for more.
yeah, and not forgetting with Swain level up, it does 3 additional
You
damage to
need single
everything else
combat
on the
here. You
board
need
as well.
specifically single combat in order to counter this Swain. We see a spell being used at 3 mana or less. I don't think it is something else than single combat, and I think you need to go.
Yeah, it could be a sharp sight, it could be a single combat. What could it be? It's going in and out.
It's probably single combat because you cannot see burst spells. That is the thing. You cannot see burst
Oh,
spells being played on the stack. You can just
that
see
is
fast and
true.
slow.
So if a single combat actually comes down over here, I don't think Ooooozzy has no ways to answer it.
Keyistyq, my friend, you do not have enough time. You just need to make up your mind.
So he's going for the single combat from the Bright Sea Protector onto the Arcanoid Sentry, not allowing the Swain to be leveled as well. So this actually does a full, removal for the Swain this turn. But keyistyq is still in lots of danger with 8 health. Not forgetting Ooooozzy might, draw into a Leviathan soon, and things might get a little bit nasty for him.
Oh no, it's also Screeching Dragon, it is a Citra, and it might be removal time for keyistyq and retaliation time, especially with Ooooozzy's hand. We do not know what keyistyq has in hand. It seemed pretty bricked and pretty heavy on his hand. But Ooooozzy doesn't have quite the power to finish this game off.
Yeah, and with this attack, I mean, Ooooozzy is comfortable, right? Ooooozzy have 2 Ravenous Flock in his hand. It's gonna be easy to remove this Screeching Dragon, and not forget if a repost come down or something like that, he could remove it as well. So this is gonna be a very clean 4 additional damage moving into keyistyq Nexus as well, and the Twist of Fate. Just a cream on the top, right? It's just gonna hopefully draw him something, and maybe he could find an option out of this as well.
Yeah, we have seen last turn keyistyq being a bit reluctant attacking with Citria. Maybe he didn't want to see a flock on the Citria as well. But I think at this point, when your opponent is trying to pile up the last bits of damage, he doesn't really want to give up on that Zap, and he is going to be better off not blocking. Alright, that is lethal in hand. You can just go for the Dreadway deck hand, red card, and probably go for Noxian Fervor, and that is all.
Yeah, and we know keyistyq don't really have a keyistyq doesn't have a deny as well, but I think Ooooozzy is gonna respect that deny, going for the gold card on the Bright Sea Protector, stunning it, only allowing the Citra to be attacking this turn. He's okay taking the 6 damage, and I think this is where he could pile up the win over here as well, with the Zap Spray Fin combined with the Noxian Fervor also.
Yeah, but now Ooooozzy needs to be very careful when he plays. Oh, never mind. Carefulness? No. You just slam that Leviathan. You slam it. You put it on the board and say, come on, deal with it. Do you have a way? Because you might die.
Yeah, so it's all, it's Ooooozzy right here is just posing all the questions to keyistyq. Do you have the answer to deal with what I have throwing towards you? And here we see a Noxian Fervor immediately going into keyistyq Nexus, putting him down to 1, and it's gonna be over with that Leviathan dropping down on the board as well, and the Consider Strike going on to the Zap Spray Fin, not allowing the Noxian Fervor to activate. And I think the Leviathan is probably really safe to be down over here, and keyistyq down to 2 health, and it's just a matter of time. The
Ooh, another Concerted
and a
Strike.
second Consider Strike taking
Just the
in the
dream hand you
Leviathan.
want.
So right now, Ooooozzy is in trouble. Ooooozzy is in huge trouble, and an attack over here with the Bright Sea Protector would be enough to close off the game for keyistyq. keyistyq might be able to turn this around.
wait. He doesn't have a way to. He doesn't have a way to defend himself against this block. Even though keyistyq might respect some things, like dragging the keg, you just go, and keyistyq manages to take it in an unfavorable matchup, in a very hard fight, and even though the matchup was unfavorable, and Swain TF is known to be a direct counter to Fiora Shen, he managed to find himself victorious.
Yeah, what an unfortunate event for Ooooozzy. I mean, he is in the driver's seat for for the longest time, and you know, with keyistyq having so much removals, he's able to control his board and taking it out of option. And end of the day, the Citra still um, uh, allow him to go have the lead and taking forward the game, and then to take the game. And you know, we are moving on to game number 2 with Ooooozzy going up against keyistyq, with Ooooozzy switching his deck, going for that Teemo Azure Sejuani, going up against TS Aphelios. Dude, it's Teemo time.
You are too excited about Teemo every single time you see it. Like, on one hand, I get it because this deck has become kind of the dark horse of the meta, punishing value decks most of the times. You sometimes can win against Fizz TF as well if you make them draw a lot of puff caps, because they have a pretty stable draw engine. The more they draw, the more they're sure to die. But all in all, Teemo is looking nice this meta. I'm not sure about the next one, but on this one, looks awesome. And what's better than Teemo being played, actually, not on one like a good player. XD.
Yeah, not forgetting, Hush is not on 2 mana anymore, so Teemo is probably really safe to attack over here. But I mean, this matchup is kind of like 50-50, right? Or a little bit tilting towards Ooooozzy's favor. But with Chrysandrum, or is it Chrysandrum, the one that deals 3 damage, the Pocket Peddler would not be able to survive any way, you know, on turn 3 as well. So he needs to find protection spell for the Puffcat Peddler, or else he's not able to stack up as many Puffcats as possible in keyistyq deck.
Yeah, and by that protection we mean Elixir of Iron and Troll Chant. I don't think there is anything else that is going to be able to protect the Puffcap Peddler. And your opponent knows that there are essentially 3 answers in terms of damage if they want to remove your Teemo, if they want to remove probably your Puffcap Peddler. They can try to drag them though, and Boxtopus is such a nice card in that regard, because you just try to clear them, they need to have answer after answer after answer, and at some point, they might not have it anymore. But this Aphelios gets removed, and that gives Ooooozzy breathing room.
Yeah, Ooooozzy has lots of breathing space, and he has so much you know, freezes in his hand as well, that Chamwam is able to add in more puff caps in the later turn, not this turn. So he's unable to level up Teemo this turn as well, playing around Hush, going for the Chamwam first, instead of attacking with just the Teemo. And I think it's still not, you know, he's just going for it, and
Is there
you know,
going to
betting.
be a Sunblast Vigor? I think that is the case if you're blocking with your Boxtopus in this situation, or you just want a favorable trade. Like, that trade happens anyways, but you do need to take it at some point, not take 4 for no reason against a Puffcap deck.
Yeah, and you know, 4 mana, we can't see a TF raid as well, raid card coming in as well. So the Teemo is still surviving without that Boxtopus on board also. So you know, as long as the Teemo is around, Ooooozzy's gonna have a more advantage putting in more puff cap into keyistyq deck. And if he ever draws into Hexcore Foundry, things is gonna, you know, swing into Ooooozzy's favor as well.
Yeah, like, this is the dream for you. You put a lot of puff caps, preferably with the puff cap peddler, and then you have Hexcore that can maintain consistent draw mechanism for you. So you draw into your resources to protect your puff cap peddler, but you also help your opponent draw more mushrooms and try to kill them.
Yeah, and Aphelios is coming in straight from keyistyq. I mean, here, what did keyistyq actually got off that Spacey Sketcher, right? He's probably looking for a Serpent, or probably a Crescent Strike for a reclean attack as well. So, and a Chrysandrum coming in, fetching him another Boxtopus, and an Iceveil Archer is there to answer the Boxtopus as well. So, if keyistyq has that Serpent, I think Ooooozzy still have the answer with the Mystic Shot as well. And not forgetting, he could level up Teemo before attacking next turn also.
Yeah, but probably keyistyq was looking for his Equinox in order to stop a Puffcap Peddler if it's ever going to hit the board and if it's ever going to pop. This Timo hits here and has the potential to double the mushrooms in his opponent's deck.
So currently, right now, the mushroom count is about 20 puff caps in his deck, and this is gonna bring it up to 40 with this Timo attacking. And if keyistyq has that hush, the Timo is gonna go down, but
No
it seems like
hush,
keyistyq doesn't
Timo
have it.
connects.
Yeah, and Timo connects, and the puff cap is just gonna be racking up, and he needs to find a way to remove that Timo, or else Ooooozzy is gonna just mushroom him over this whole game.
Yeah, but he's still lacking. He is still lacking that Hexor Foundry in order to make the draw consistent enough for keyistyq to die from puff caps. Right now, he needs to hope that this Timo is going to be able to survive enough in order to bring him the win. Flash freeze is one good tool that you can use in that regard if the Boxtopus is ever going to challenge the Timo, which I think is going to happen this round. And then you have even harsh winds if you need it for next rounds, and you do not draw more ways to keep your Timo alive. We have Veteran Investigator that also helps us draw cards while we help our opponent draw into more puff caps. It's like a mini Hexcore Foundry for one turn.
Yeah, and he needs it, right? He needs to find answers. He needs to find his Sejuani. He needs to find his Ezreal to bring the game closer to victory for himself. And not forgetting, right? Puffcat Battler would be able to would be able to generate more mushroom as well for Ooooozzy. So it's gonna be, that veteran investigator might be coming down this turn just to allow him to have some additional draw power also. So Ooooozzy is kind of limited to what he has in hand as well. Not forgetting that he could even go for a experimental, to get himself more puff caps on the Chambwam also.
Yeah, that is definitely the option. You can go for the iterative improvements. You get more puff caps into your opponent's deck. You still need a draw. Like, this game is not going to be ended by Ooooozzy unless he gets a Hexcore Foundry or puff cap Peddler. Oh, that is going to deal with the Timo for good.
Oh, that's gonna hurt Ooooozzy. Just gonna bring Ooooozzy back a little bit more. But I think he has that. He hacks that thermal beam to deal with the second affiliates on keyistyq bot as well. So and he could iterative improvement, go for it, and try to draw himself more cards, and hopefully drawing him into some Hexcore Foundry or even other champions as well. Like all this thing could allow him to move slightly forward as well into the game.
Yeah, definitely, because right now, even though keyistyq has a lot of puff caps in the deck, keyistyq doesn't have enough draw, I think, in order to draw all the puff caps. You need to help your opponent draw into those puff caps. He's not going to do that incidentally. Twisted Fate levels up from time to time in that deck just because the opponent has more priorities that he needs to deal with, but still, you need Hexcore Foundries, you need Puffcap Peddlers, you need to put more pressure onto your opponent, because if not, they're going to reach a star shaping, hit you with a giant elusive celestial, and that is the end of the game.
Yeah, and I think right here, both
Whoa,
players are looking
finally.
for draws, right? And oh, that just 5 damage just like that with just 2 draws. And a Puffcap Peddler off the top for Ooooozzy as well. So he's able, and this Crescendrium is not, is just removing the Chumwam, and it's just pointing out saying, Ooooozzy has the goal to place the Puffcat Peddler down as well, and not forgetting he has that Mystic Shot to deal with the TF if the TF actually goes out of hands on the drawing as well.
I think keyistyq is that comfortable using that Calibrum because he might have the Equinox in hand.
Yeah, so if he has the Equinox, I think firing off here on the Puffcat Peddler would be good enough so that he doesn't stack up anymore. But it seems like Ooooozzy is not going to deal with the TF this turn, and going for double Puffcat, generating more. And if keyistyq has the Equinox, now is the time to fire it off before Ooooozzy adds more Puffcaps into keyistyq deck.
Like right now, if you're Ooooozzy, you might even go all in and even use your brittle steel in order to put even more puff caps. Because if you don't finish this game soon enough, your opponent has the control over the board, has the power to choose the trades with the two box opuses being played on the board, and the Twisted Fate might just level and win the game.
Yeah, you don't want that Twisted Fate to be leveling up in this matchup. It's gonna be so bad if that Twisted Fate levels. And Spacey Sketcher over here might be looking for an Equinox. I think, you know, maybe firing off the Brittle Steel here might not be the best option. I mean, he could use it against the Boxopus, or even, you know, he could have more options since everything is eligible for Brittle Steel as well. And here comes 2 more damage into keyistyq. Nexus 8 health is not exactly where you want to be going up against a Teemo deck, but I think he has Star Shaping as well to heal it up and find himself more Celestial option also.
Yeah, and right now you do have the freezes. You do have the freezes to counter all your opponent's attack, but your opponent is attacking with 1/1s or 1/2s. That is not threatening in the slightest. So you can just safely let this one through most of the times, or just take the value blocks, enjoy a bit of mushrooms being put in your opponent's deck because you have the brittle steels, and at this point it is just a slow grind to death.
Yeah, Ooooozzy just have to survive, right? All Ooooozzy has to do is wait and let keyistyq kill himself with the TF also. So, you know, if TF needs to level, he needs to draw. That being said, he's taking more damage as well. So as the Pumpcat Peddler survives, keyistyq is just digging a deeper hole for himself with you know, tons of draw as well. Here comes a Meteor Shower, immediately going for the answer for that Puffcat Peddler. And I think Ooooozzy is gonna say no and try to put in as much Puffcat into keyistyq deck before he end the turn over to before he hand the turn over.
You might just go for the Mystic Shot if you think about putting some damage and not use the Brittle Steel, but if you think that your opponent, if you are comfortable with your opponent drawing a lot of puff caps in the next round, I think you do go for just for everything. If you are not, if you want to play safe, you just go for the Mystic Shot. Are we playing for the Ezreal top deck? We do play for the Ezreal top deck, and we are rewarded. Ezreal is online. This should be over if Ezreal manages to connect, if everything else in terms of spells is going to manage to connect before Ezreal dies, or there is an attempt for Ezreal to die.
Yeah, look at this Ezreal and look at his hand. Just like that, he could do exactly. Oh, and Hush comes in, and I don't think he's able to remove the Ezreal this turn. But based on Ooooozzy's hand, Ooooozzy is really comfortable. He could do tons of damage. You know, it's just 7 damage based on whatever he has in hand. So it's just one off veto based on the board state right now. But it's all coming down to, does keyistyq have that heal to you know, put himself away from death range.
Judging by his attempt to block or not block, he might just have the Star Shaping in order to keep himself alive for a few more rounds. And if there is a Star Shaping, and if you hit things like Raid Beyond, I think actually you want to hit the Destroyer, because at this point the elusive is not going to matter too much. It's going to be blocked, both the Immortal Fire and the Great Beyond, but the Overwhelm on the Destroyer, that might be nasty for Ooooozzy to deal with, especially because he doesn't have enough spells in order to proc probably the spell shield in time. You can go for Mystic Shot and Harsh Winds, but that is not going to freeze it. You need Mystic Shot to go in first.
So here's a Serpent. Serpent, you know, he's trying to remove that Ezreal, but I think Ooooozzy right here, his hand is just stacked with control freezes for control, right? So and as Ezreal gets back his ability the next turn, he's able to ping more damage with just all this, and the Chum Worm coming in as well. 5 pop caps going in, saying the healing from the Star Shipping is not doing any job just with the 5 pop cap draw, and the Chum Worm coming in. Ooooozzy has lethal with just burst spells.
What did keyistyq bring? Not brick. Let's not brick. Please, we do not want to caster curse you. But it does seem that keyistyq is in such a situation because he was pushing damage right a few turns before with 1/1s and 1/2s. So that might tell us his hand is not quite what he wants. Maybe it's a lot of protection spells. Maybe it's a lot of actually draw spells. Things like Guiding Touches, things like Spell Cascades that do not heal you. For example, if you play Guiding Touch, you risk to lose HP instead of gaining it.
Yeah. Oh, and the Scourge coming in for keyistyq, but I think Ooooozzy has that harsh winds as well. If he chooses not to, if he chooses to use it upon combat, and I think no matter what, Ooooozzy still has that lethal because keyistyq doesn't have a healing spell unless he has a guiding touch. But apart from guiding touch, I think he has no way out of this one.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any way out. Like, he could go for Guiding Touch, hope he doesn't draw into a Puff Cap, and then... Oh, Crescent Strike. He's trying to go for Lethal here. And
Yeah.
Ooooozzy doesn't need to pressure too much. He has the answers, he just needs to wait for the opponent because he's going to attack. You don't need to do anything here.
It's over. It's over for keyistyq for this turn. Ooooozzy has lethal in his hand. It's just a matter of time right now. This attack doesn't mean anything for Ooooozzy, and I think this is gonna be GG for this game for keyistyq.
Yeah, definitely. It's not going to go the way keyistyq would have hoped, probably, to go on a clean 2-0. Ooooozzy still has some fighting into him, so it's going to come down to Shen Fiora versus TF Aphelios, most likely.
Yeah, it's gonna be that for game number 3, and waiting for keyistyq to commit to this attack before Ooooozzy's close off the game with this one. The rope is burning for keyistyq. Does keyistyq has a way to turn himself? I mean, with 0 mana, there's no way that he could play around whatever that Ooooozzy has in hand right now. And it's just up to Ooooozzy to finish off the game.
Yeah, we are in limbo right now. We are minutes from the game ending. I don't think there is going to be a way for Ooooozzy to for Ooooozzy not to win this game. Like, he has it in the bag.
Yeah, so here we have a Brittle Steel into Harsh Winds, bringing keyistyq health to 4 mana. I think right here he has no way to finish off this game, but he will be able to finish off with a Mystic Shot into Puff Cap and 2 Puff Caps, Mushroom Clouds going in. 1, 2, bringing keyistyq health to 2. Could keyistyq draw into 2 more Puff Caps and kill himself this turn? That's probably the best achievement that a Teemo player would ever want. Passing the turn, keyistyq taking that top deck in 1, 2, 3, 4, and that is it. keyistyq going down with Ooooozzy taking game number 2. We're moving to game number 3 with keyistyq against Ooooozzy with TF Swain going up against TF Aphelios.
Yeah, sorry guys, I was too excited about the Fiora Shen. Maybe because I've been playing a lot of it recently. So yeah, it's going to be TF Swain against the
It's
TF
Fiora Shen,
Aphelios.
sorry.
Yeah, there is
Yeah,
no
sorry.
Fiora Shen. The Fiora Shen has won for keyistyq first round.
So we have a TF Mirrors over here. TF Swain going up against TF Aphelios. This matchup is something that we were talking about pre-game, right? So who actually has the advantage again, Casmin?
It should be usually the Targon deck that has the advantage because you can heal consistently enough and heal your units consistently enough, protect them. You have the addition of Bastions, so you don't take damage at all. So there shouldn't be an issue for you to push the game into the later stages, and then you should have the advantage because you have obliterate effects in your deck or access to obliterate decks in terms of invokes in your deck. So Leviathans, Swains shouldn't be an issue for you.
Yeah, and I like looking at Uzi's hand right now, he's not exactly having the best curve that he has. I mean, he could have a reactive Arcanoid Sentry against keyistyq, but I think and a TF as well. I mean, the TF might change things around, but what do you think? I think right here, I think Ooooozzy is not looking very comfortable.
Yeah, especially when your opponent plays Solari Priestess, but your opponent takes a bit of time. That might give you the read that they didn't get the Falling Comet, so your Leviathan or your Swain, if you overdrop them, might be safe.
Yeah, and not having Aphelios on 3 also kind of mean that keyistyq don't really have that Aphelios, and an open attack coming in from Ooooozzy trying to want to react to whatever that's coming, and a Vault Temple is immediately gonna get Scorched Earthed, and it's probably gonna be a TF blue card coming in from Ooooozzy as well.
Yeah, that also helps Uzi to not lose on the attune from TF blue card, so he should probably think keyistyq for this one. when playing the Well Temple, he just optimizes his hand.
Yeah, Ooooozzy with the blue card, adding 1 stack onto the TF. You know, he could go for a pick a card as well, so to allow that TF to level up also. So I think Ooooozzy is really comfortable. There's Ooooozzy could with that salvage as well. Yo, Ooooozzy is able to level up the TF as fast as possible.
Wait, yo, you have to pass here though. You do have to pass because if your opponent tries to kill your TF, you're doomed. And they probably are going to try to do that. If they go for Crescendum, you do have the response, you do have the stun.
Yeah, so he knows, right? He's passing back to keyistyq, knowing that the Boxtopus is gonna come down, stunning the Boxtopus this turn, and Ooooozzy has to rush to level up that TF as fast as possible. So that being said, with the pick a card, the TF is gonna be a 6 out of 8, and you know, with that salvage, he could level it up the next turn, and he's just gonna roll from then on.
Yeah, definitely. Let's see if you pick a card on this turn on the next turn. Though another Scourge, if you ever see another Veil Temple, it is not going to be an issue for you. Maybe
And
no, nothing can stop, I think, the level up on the TF, even if you try to hash, maybe preemptively hash this Twisted Fate, so he doesn't see the 2 cards being drawn at least. Who knows?
yeah, so Jack the winner over here to allow himself to have some tempo, and probably he's gonna end off the turn with a pick a card into opening with a salvage the next turn to level up the TF, and he might be looking for a stun, you know, a gold card on to keyistyq, so that you know the Boxtopus wouldn't be able to attack. To able to challenge the TF as well. So I think Ooooozzy might be comfortable. It all really depends on what are the next few cards that he gets off that pick a card.
And most importantly, if those cards are throwable, because you do need to level your Twisted Fate, so you do need to play this salvage. It seems like we are going to throw away oh, the hash.
Oh. Yeah, so that preemptive hush really hurts Ooooozzy as he set up the leveling up of the TF really well as well. But I think that being said, you know, he is also able to play whatever that is fleeting as well, so that he wouldn't waste this Swain coming in from the pick a card as well. So I mean, with this, it allows him to have this option also. So Ooooozzy is not exactly in a bad position with that TF did.
Yeah, he wasn't, but I think it comes down to that turn where he decided to go and to not go for the pick a card, probably when the opponent didn't have enough mana to respond to the level up. And then it was your turn, you could have just gone for salvage, level up your TF, and your opponent wouldn't have much of an answer to that.
Yeah, sleep with the fishes, bring him down 3, adding 3 more stacks onto the Swain. I think Swain should be leveling up pretty soon as well. With this slip with the fishes, and I mean, he has salvage to find himself more answers. He has that Ravenous Flock as well to deal with the Boxtopus. And I think he should remove the Boxtopus right now before, you know, as keyistyq is tapped out. He has really low on like combat tricks as well, so the Boxtopus wouldn't be saved.
Yeah, and you mentioned that we might see a Ravenous Flock on this Octopus, and this is what probably is going to happen because keyistyq doesn't have anything at 1 mana that can save, can heal, can buff the Octopus. So you take the clean... Oh no, he doesn't go for it.
But I think he could do it reactively if he wants to. So here comes the salvage, drawing in a Ravenous Flock and a second TF as well. TF might be the play into blue card to try to level it up as well. Or even a red card. I mean, you could level up Swain as fast as possible also.
Yeah, the problem with leveling up Swain is that Swain is never going to be able to hit. And judging by that stun, I do think that keyistyq didn't hit any obliterate mechanics, so we're safe to say, I think, there is no answer for Swain nor Leviathan.
Yeah, so you know, a Guiding Touch to play around a Ravenous Flock as well.
So it is just going to be a stalemate this turn. Nobody is going to attack, nobody is going to progress his game plan too much. We're just going to wait for the round to end. Probably next turn is going to be more interesting because right now nothing can also be played on Ooooozzy's side at least. He just has another Crescendum.
So that is the third box toppers that we are going to see in this game. So we know keyistyq has ran out of box toppers, and Ooooozzy might be a little bit of problem with the box toppers as well, but as long as he could control with the box toppers, I think things would be better.
Yeah, I think that here the chat is hearing your what is happening in your background.
It's my background.
Yeah. Is there something happening in your house, Mason? Is somebody trying to rob you or something? You can call the police.
Yeah. So here comes a lifesteal gun on the box toppers as well. So here comes a stun immediately going in for the box toppers. So this way, the box toppers would not go for a attack on the Swain, but he has a Ravenous block to deal with the second box toppers as well. So Ooooozzy is still kind of like able to control the box toppers in a sense.
Just for the moment, I don't think that Ooooozzy has enough finishing power because that Aphelios already leveled is going to bring more resources to keyistyq's aid, and that Swain might not be able to finish the game off. That is the main concern for Ooooozzy, I think, at this point. We need Leviathan, especially because we know that our opponent doesn't have obliterates.
Yeah, he needs to draw into the Leviathan, and double Ravenous Flock could deal with both the block toppers as well. But yeah, Ooooozzy has no way to push for lethal.
Now you might even see a Ravenous Flock. That can be easily answered probably by something like Guiding Touch, by something like Pearl Cascade, and it forces you to play another one. Guiding Touch is going to make sure that this Boxtopus is going to be able to get the kill on the Twisted Fate, no questions asked.
Yeah, so it's all coming down to, does Ooooozzy have the ability to draw himself that Leviathan? You know, is Ooooozzy the best player that ever was? and it all comes down to that top deck. A Leviathan is gonna save the day. A Star Shaping trying to find himself at the Obliterate, and keyistyq picking the card as fast as possible. It seems like he might have, you know, that Obliterate card to deal with the Swain or the upcoming Leviathan.
Or even better, he might have the cards to finish the game if there is something like the Great Beyond or something like the Immortal Fire. It is going to be probably good game in 2 turns. Like
Yeah.
that thing hitting is going to be scary if he has it. If he has Obliterate, it's just a safer plan as well.
Yeah, he needs the keyistyq needs the elusive units as well, right? Or an obliterate spell. So Ooooozzy is really in a tight position with just 2 cards in hand. He don't have the card advantage. He don't really have the board advantage as well. And there's 2 boxers just staring in his face right now.
And you cannot remove them. You can try to go for Scorchers, you can try to go for another Ravenous Rock, but that just tells your opponent, hey, I don't have any card, just proceed with your game plan. It's fine. You're okay.
Yeah, and the Spacey Sketcher over here, I think the Spacey is not gonna do too much. I think it could just allow him to get another Celestial, or even worse, right? keyistyq might have the 9 mana spell that Obliterate to units, and here comes the top deck from Ooooozzy with the Leviathan. I don't think this Leviathan is gonna do too much, especially with keyistyq having, you know, having the Celestial removal as well. So I don't think the Leviathan is gonna flip the game around for Ooooozzy.
But does keyistyq have the removal? Does he have Supernova?
Yeah, the Supernova is gonna be huge for keyistyq though. You know, he might go for like the Spacey Sketcher to try to activate the Supernova as well. Like this could be possible scenarios that keyistyq have in his hand also, and the Leviathan is gonna be a no-brainer play from Ooooozzy, and it's all fingers crossed. Does keyistyq has the removal for that Leviathan?
If keyistyq played that, yeah, he played it beautifully. He stunned the Swain, he waited for a Leviathan, he knew that Ooooooozzy's only out was the Leviathan. If nothing would have happened, it would eventually go to him. He finds the Supernova, both Swain and Leviathan being cleared in one go.
Yeah, I think this is gonna be it for Ooooozzy. Ooooozzy has no way to deal with his bot. keyistyq is gonna outvalue Ooooozzy from here on, and here is have an Inferium just trying to get a cycling of the guns as well, the weapons from Aphelios as well. So it's gonna be it's gonna be GG for Ooooozzy unless he draw himself another copy of Leviathan, which he just did. This might actually turn the game around for Ooooozzy with the Leviathan.
You might think that, but also keyistyq just got a Solari Priestess, so there might be another Obliterate effect, and you're still afraid of what you're going to play, but you need to play this Leviathan. I don't think there is an out for you, or there is a world where you win if this Leviathan doesn't stick. If you just play defensively, if you play your Saints, that just might be your downfall, because Swain on its own doesn't do much. He needs his ship, he needs the Swain Leviathan combo.
It's all coming down. Does keyistyq has the answer, or did he preempt himself to pick an answer for the Leviathan? And it's still coming down to what did he invoke, and it's gonna be a Calabrium going on to the Arcanoid Sentry as well. I think it's coming down, right? It's gonna be nerve-wracking for Ooooozzy. Does keyistyq has that answer? Ooooozzy just need this Leviathan to stick on the board, and he could be able to turn this around. And it's at this point, he's seeing a slight bit of light at this point of moment. At this point in the game.
Yeah, definitely. Your opponent didn't go immediately for the obliterate, for the falling comet. I think that gives you breathing room, but not much, because the opponent has blockers for anything that might happen.
And here see keyistyq going in for a Severum onto the Boxtopus, trying to heal himself back up to 20, or even trying to find a way to deal with that Leviathan.
It all depends on what keyistyq probably chose from the moon weapon as well.
Yeah, and this attack going in, it damages the Boxtopus. He's prone to Scorched Earth. He's prone to
Oh, the
Ravenous Fog
Equinox,
as well.
and that should
Oh,
be game over, I think. Two of your Leviathans have been dealt with. Swain,
yeah,
on its own, not going to do much.
it's not gonna do much. That Equinox is huge on the Leviathan, and I think this is unless Ooooozzy is lucky enough to draw himself that third Leviathan that could change him the game. He's just looking more and more grim as turn goes by.
Let me actually check if Lara runs 3 Leviathan. Yeah, I don't think you cannot run 3 Leviathans in a Swain deck. And the Falling Comet, and that should probably be game.
keyistyq. I mean, look at Ooooozzy right here. He has the face of defeat. He's like, you have everything to answer.
and the Gravitum as well. This is turning to be like a game of cat and mouse. Ooooozzy is putting a unit on the board. keyistyq, no, I have the answer. Go next.
So it's just really right here. It's just waiting, right? Who has the better answer right now? And it seems like Ooooozzy right now is running out of questions for keyistyq, and keyistyq is now it's the person now trying to giving the question to Ooooozzy. Like, do you have the answer for this? Do you have the answer for that at this point of time? And if keyistyq ever invoke himself into a Great Beyond or a immortal fire, Ooooozzy is just gonna it's gonna be over for Ooooozzy, as he has no way to deal with anything with Elusive.
This fight is probably just going to level in the meantime as well. You have 2 leveled up champions on the board. You do have the means to block a Swain. And I think it's not going to go down for Ooooozzy. Very fortunate here. Even that Arachnid Sentry cannot help you push enough damage. Even that.
So this Ethereum going on to the Voxopus. I think Ooooozzy right now is just delaying, trying to find himself, hopefully draw himself that third Leviathan. He's just delaying. Does he even play a third Leviathan?
Yeah, he does. But the thing is, by the time you do your third Leviathan, you're going to have 2 main issues. Actually 3. A board full of blockers for the Swain, the potential for the opponent to draw, and probably 2 leveled up champions, and a lot of moon weapons, and now a star shaping that tries to finish the game.
So the star shaping, keyistyq is looking for ways to close off the game. Great Beyond, Immortal Fire, Destroyer, like all these are all possible units that he could use to close off the game as well. and if keyistyq ever draws into them, or even a cosmic inspiration could change the game as well.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, if you see cosmic inspiration, you just concede. Like, there's no way you win after you see a cosmic inspiration being played on that board.
Yeah, the caliber going on to the Zap's Brave, so that removing another elusive from Ooooozzy. So he has no way that he could deal with any elusive. So keyistyq ever has an elusive unit, he probably is gonna be closing off the game, and not forgetting so many celestial card has been played before the elusive units drop. So it's all coming down. It all comes down to what keyistyq actually got from that star shaping.
Does it really though? Because keyistyq is going to have a full hand, and Ooooozzy. Oh, the final Leviathan is being thrown away. Yeah.
So this attack is coming in from Ooooozzy saying, "I'm going all in. It's all or nothing. You gotta answer me right now." And I think Ooooozzy has no way to win right now. His win con has been tossed away, and even if so, Leviathan is at the bottom of the deck, he would never ever find that Leviathan or even see that Leviathan till the game ends.
Yeah. Imagine Leviathan in the last card, that last glimmer of hope just being thrown away. Maybe he could have gone for the Twisted Fate level up condition on keyistyq win, because maybe keyistyq might have been able to mill himself out. Was that an out for Ooooozzy? I don't know anymore.
Like right here, I have no idea what is Ooooozzy gonna play. How is Ooooozzy gonna win? I think he knows that he's already been defeated. He's just probably respecting the player, not going to end the round so soon, and it's all down to keyistyq. Thus, keyistyq has that huge creature that is from that he could invoke out of it as well.
Well, if he doesn't have it, he has all the potential to get more cards that can draw into it. I think he played already 2 star shapings. He can go probably for a third one, try to finally find the way to win the game and to close it off, because that is what you want to do at this point. You survived against TF Swain for so long, you removed all their main threats, and now you just want to draw your win condition yourself.
Yeah, and here comes keyistyq Brief and Astral Protection onto the Aphelios. I think I have no reason why. Like, maybe he's just trying to avoid that Aphelios being killed off by Ravenous Flock or Scorched Earth. And here comes a Ethereum going into their Boxtopus as well. At this point, keyistyq is just being comfortable.
Yeah, like there is nothing interesting that is going to happen at this point.
And a second Astral Protection going into the Boxtopus, not allowing that Ravenous Flock to fire, and is keyistyq able to close off the game this turn, as this is going on for way too long, and keyistyq has to finish the game over here. And here we see a Cosmic Inspiration from keyistyq as well. But he might be trying to run Ooooozzy out of options, and with this attack onto the Swain as well.
Like, the moment you clear this Swain here and that clear goes through, it is hopeless probably for Ooooozzy. He doesn't really have a way to come back. He really doesn't.
So I think Ooooozzy is still not going for the scoop as well. So it's gonna be in the Calabrium trying, Ooooozzy, just scoop already. And here we see a surrender coming in from Ooooozzy, and we call for it. And it's he's